If 150,000 family-sponsored visas and 100,000 employment-based visas go unused this year, then are they just being wasted? We have some important news for you today. Last week, a federal judge in Texas ruled that DACA was created illegally, effectively preventing new applications from being accepted and calling into question the future of the program. And earlier this week, the Department of State and USCIS received accusations that they were wasting hundreds of thousands of employment and family-based visas. We are going to cover all the details right now. Make sure you stay tuned until the end to hear how this might affect your case. And if this is your first time on my channel, please be sure to subscribe and like this video. What was the bad news about DACA? On Friday, July 16th, a federal judge in Texas ruled that the DACA program is illegal and has effectively prevented the Department of Homeland Security from approving new applications. While this does not immediately impact the 600,000 Dreamers who are currently protected underneath DACA, it does stop approximately 80,000 applications that are pending right now. Those who already have DACA will be able to renew their DACA status, but anyone who has not received an initial grant of DACA already will be prevented from having their application processed. To put this decision into context, it is estimated that more than 1.3 million people inside the US are potentially eligible for DACA, more than double the number of people who are already covered by it. The judge who issued this decision is Texas District Court Judge Andrew Hanen, who was appointed by former President George W. Bush and is described as one of the most anti-immigration judges inside the U.S. Hanen has voiced his opposition to DACA for years, and his recent decision has been expected for months. President Biden has promised to appeal the decision in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, but it is a notoriously conservative court, and the Supreme Court also features a 6-3 conservative majority if the case does end up there. Nobody knows what the outcome of this appeal will be, so pressure is mounting for a more permanent solution. The easiest fix, of course, would be for Congress to pass a law, but over the past decade, every DACA-related bill has been opposed in the Senate. As we discussed in a separate video, the American Dream and Promise Act provides a pathway for citizenship to Dreamers, and it passed the House of Representatives in 2019 and again in March of this year, but it currently has no chance of passing the Senate. The more realistic chance that Dreamers have of gaining citizenship is by including it in the upcoming budget reconciliation package that we discussed in my previous video. Doing so would allow Senate Democrats to pass a permanent solution for DACA with a simple majority of 50 votes, bypassing a Republican filibuster. So, what is my opinion and my take on this? I am hoping that this is what is going to be the final straw that breaks the camel's back and finally gets Congress to do something permanent for Dreamers. As we can see, DACA was never actually meant to be a permanent solution, but rather a gap-stop measure. And as the courts and the president previously has been playing around with the future of DACA, it grows more and more apparent every day that we must have a permanent solution today. Before we move on any further, we spent a lot of time putting this video together, so if you're enjoying watching the content that I bring, please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Okay, next, are U.S. visas being wasted by the Department of State? On Monday, July 19th, the monthly live stream of the Bureau of Consular Affairs received an unusually high number of dislikes, and the comments were filled with visa applicants who were claiming that USCIS and the Department of State were actually wasting hundreds of thousands of visas. The outcry was made in response to a comment made by Charlie Oppenheim, who is the Chief of Visa Control and Reporting Division at the Department of State, which is the office responsible for compiling the Visa Bulletin and posting it online. Charlie was asked to comment on the unused family-sponsored and employment-based visas for the fiscal year 2021, and here's what he had to say.
I can tell you there's been a significant increase in the amount of family-sponsored number use at our overseas posts during the past 2 months, and therefore I have lowered my previous estimate of unused family numbers slightly, and now believe there'll be approximately 150,000 unused family numbers. On the employment side, the USCIS use of employment numbers continues to increase. It may not be at the levels many people would like, but it is increasing and they're doing their best. But I do believe there could be approximately 100,000 unused employment numbers.
If 150,000 family-sponsored visas and 100,000 employment-based visas go unused this year, then are they just being wasted? As some of you may already know, unused family-based visas are carried over and added to the employment visa limit the following year, and vice versa. This way, all the visas are eventually used and none go to waste. My guess is that some of the viewers didn't know how this works, and that is why they commented the way that they did. They accused USCIS and the State Department of wasting hundreds of thousands of visas this year, even though this is not actually true. However, there is a flaw in the system that results in lost green cards every year. The system works as it should when it comes to employment-based visas. Each fiscal year, the limit is calculated as 140,000 plus the number of family-based green cards that went unused the year before. But the family-based category is different. The limit is calculated as 480,000 minus the number of immediate relatives who were admitted plus the number of employment-based green cards that went unused the year before. If the total is less than the baseline of 226,000, then the following year, the number of family-based green cards is automatically set to 226,000. And the number of immediate relatives has been high enough to keep the family-based annual cap at the minimum of 226 for the past 20 years. The thing is, Congress is able to recapture these green cards and has done so before. If they were to recapture all the green cards that have been lost since 1992, it would provide an additional 220,000 previously unused green cards that could be used immediately to help fix the visa backlog. The process for doing so already exists in law. Congress just needs the will to enforce it. What do you think? Will USCIS or the Biden administration actually do something to fix the visa backlog? Leave a comment below and let me know. If you saw my previous video, you already know that the Department of Homeland Security released a $52 billion funding bill that would supposedly allow unused family and employment-based visas to be carried over into 2022. Charlie refused to comment on it on the Bureau of Consular Affairs live stream, but he did acknowledge it, so I will include a link to that video here for those who haven't seen it. I will also continue releasing new videos as news becomes available. So if you have not subscribed yet and want to know about the latest immigration news, please be sure to follow me here. Check this video out here and I'll see you soon.